I was really close to the rim. I did not expect that then. I thought I had to go. Nearly spilt it all over me. Oh, I love a slurp, don't I? I love a slurp. Hello, my bookish friends. Welcome back to another video with me. It's Mike here once again. Thank you for coming along. Today is a video. What is this video? The first 100 pages of The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. I don't really know how to say this standard, but check out as well. Well, that's crap. You can't see it. It's my new bookmark. It's a Hogwarts crest. I'm gonna have to pull it out and show you. I'm talking about my bookmark, people. Look, it's a Hogwarts crest. It's like all, I don't know what colour that is. Kind of a brassy, goldy colour. Why won't it focus? You know, this camera is sometimes brilliant and other times not so brilliant. There we go. Hogwarts. It's really nice, and I love, okay, turn that up, that it's got a little like flippity-doo-dah there, so it slots over the page. Bought it yesterday from Cardiff and I just love it. I never have a bookmark. If you've watched the channel for a while, you know I don't have bookmarks. I use receipts and debit cards and things, and any kind of slip of paper I can find. So now I've got an actual proper bookmark to use, which makes me happy. Anyway, welcome to the first 100 pages video for this new... What number is this now? Is it number 5? I don't actually know. Could be hopefully number 5. I bought this book recently from a charity shop, I've never read it. I bought these books, two for £1. I bought this, and I bought Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn, and I was like, that's a pretty good haul. And I am 100 pages into it now. I have watched the BBC adaptation of the Strike books. So far they've adapted the first 3 novels. This book had 3 episodes about it, and I did enjoy it, but I think I was enjoying Strike and Robin's relationship expand through the series, and that was what was gripping me. I wouldn't say the crimes were gripping me, but so far it's been about their relationship. And this week okay, spoiler alert, I bought myself the 4th Cormoran Strike novel because it's been released this week in the UK, and it was half price in WH Smith's, and I thought, you know what, that would be actually a lovely read. I've watched the first 3. I'll read the 4th one. But when I read the blurb, it said something, or there was all quotes in the back, and it said something about Robin and Strike's relationship is like as sparky as ever, and I was like, well, I enjoyed their relationship in the TV show, but I don't remember it being particularly sparky, and I was like, what am I missing? So I thought, now is the perfect time to read this. That's why I picked it up. It was also one of my autumn TBR reads. I'll link that video below if you haven't seen it. I just felt like it would be a really good kind of cosy-ish thriller, winter in London as it started to turn very cold and damp here in Wales at the moment, except for today where it's glorious. So anyway, I'm 100 pages in. If you haven't read this book, it's also in the show. It's about Private Eye, Cormoran Strike, and he has a prosthetic leg, and he is hired by a wealthy man because his sister has apparently just committed suicide. His sister is the famous Luna Landry. She is a model, was a model, soz. She dead now. And she fell or was pushed off the balcony of her London flat. And it was extremely well documented across all the different types of media, and so when Cormoran discovers he's got this new client, this wealthy client who's actually willing and prepared to pay, he sort of doesn't really think it's going to amount to anything, because he thinks it was such a high-profile case that the police would have actually found out what happened. So he doesn't think much of it, but he has a lot of debt, and he sort of selfishly takes it on because he needs to get himself out of his situation. So that's sort of what it's about. It's about Cormoran investigating Luna Landry's death. So far, what the characters that are jumping out obviously are Cormoran and Robin. So the way you enter into this novel, and I do like it when books and TV shows do this, they use a character to bring you in as the audience. So kind of you learn stuff at the same time as that character does. So in this book, it's Robin. So Robin is a temp, and she has just moved to London with her fiancé. She's just got engaged, and she is looking for permanent work. So in the meantime, has signed on for a temping agency, and she gets assigned a week at Cormoran Strike's office. And Cormoran thinks that he has he doesn't think he can afford to pay her because the agency costs so much money. But Robin is really efficient, and she gets, like, when the client comes and she offers them cups of coffee, and Cormoran's like, we ain't got no coffee, but she comes in with coffee, and he's like, where did you get that coffee from? And she just uses her initiative. She's very organised. She gets things done, and it's quite cool. Their relationship is interesting, but from a reading point of view, like, Cormoran never tells Robin he's impressed with her. He tells us through the book, through hearing the thoughts in his head, that he's like, or he reads a note and he kind of like smiles because he thinks actually that's really bloody good. And then Robin is really enamoured with the idea of being a private investigator. It's what she always wanted to do as a kid. And so she finds his world and his life fascinating. And she does things that makes him respect her and vice versa, but it isn't really spoken about. That is really cool. So their relationship is building on what we know, but actually not what they know about each other. Like, well, not what they know the other one is thinking, if that makes sense. So I really like that so far. And what else is happening? So that's kind of what is happening. Robin and him have just dropped a bookmark. That's not good, is it? It's heavy on top. So Robin has just, in the book, has just been, she'd done her first week and she was about to finish and she was gutted. And Cormoran was gutted too, because he was like, actually, it would be nice to have her in the office, and this is kind of working. So she suggests that they leave the agency out of it and he can pay her, like, personally, and so that's what they've decided. So she is going to stay on for a couple more weeks, but still, she's still going to interviews for her proper job, and she's going to just stay there and work this case, because actually the case has fascinated her as well, and she's investigating things too. And it's actually, their relationship is really vibrant. From the first 100 pages, their relationship is jumping out at me. I will say this about it, okay? The descriptions in it aren't very specific. They're quite general. And I quite like that, because it lets you imagine it a certain way, okay? But as I've said, I have actually already watched the adaptation of this on BBC One, and I cannot help but envisage the characters and the offices and the street and all those things that are significant as what I saw on the adaptation. But I'm going to say this now, that is in no way a bad thing at all, because I was impressed by reading this. And I said to Jay as I was reading it one day this week, I was reading it and the description was quite sparse, and yet it managed to convey what it needed to for me to see it in my head. I think it was of an office or something. And I remembered then, I kind of remembered what it was in the show, and I thought, it's bloody clever, isn't it? These people on TV who can create sets and find places that match what an author has written in a book, because obviously there's not real. The stuff in, I don't imagine Robert Galbraith, J.K. Rowling, went to an office in London to see what it would look like. She just imagined it and created it, and then they made it / found it to film in. I find that fascinating. I think film and TV is fascinating, but I was really impressed by how the little description became something in my mind and on the telly. I was very impressed with that. What am I looking forward to? I don't really remember the outcome of the novel. I don't remember who the killer is, if there was a killer. I don't remember. I remember certain parts of the TV show, but it was a little while ago we watched it, so it's not very fresh in my mind, so I'm glad of that. It's all coming back to me as I'm reading it, but I'm not predicting what's going to happen, because I'm letting it happen for me. And it's just proving to be the right fit for me at the right time. I've flown through the first 120 odd pages. I've just zipped through it, and I'm going to read some more later, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And I want to come back and read more of what's happening. So the crime has intrigued me enough to pull me back, but at the same time I want to know about Strike and Robin's relationship. So after this, I have to go looking for books 2 and 3, because I've decided I want them in hardback, because I have this in hardback, I have the new one in hardback, so I need to get the other 2 in the middle in hardback. So I will be hunting for it. For them, I did look yesterday in Cardiff in a second-hand bookshop, but they didn't have it. They had them in paperback in Waterstones, but I want them in hardback, so I think I'm going to go look in some charity shops before I just order them off the interweb. So anyway, guys, that's the end of my first 100 pages assessment of The Cuckoo's Calling by Cormoran Strike? No, by Robert Galbraith. And so far, the verdict is really enjoying. If you like a bit of crime, then this is for you. It's not really the same as reading a Joe Nesbo novel, because they are really procedural about the actual crime happening and then the police investigation. This is a bit different because it's a private eye. It's a bit more personal, and it's about reopening the case. So I'm intrigued. Yeah, really enjoying. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys, and I will be back with more bookish videos very soon. Bye. What am I doing?